games. And I
Right.
think his mom probably waited on him hand and
Yeah.
foot, and that is where whenever he got out there into the world, how he survived until he met up with Abe is only. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea how that happened,
No.
but yeah. But I think that's how he or why he got people, how he hooked people into taking care of him, doing things for him. But I mean, he's a very smart man, very intelligent, um, and a very good liar.
Yes.
But
Strengths.
I mean, for him, and this is what I think is strange about. Okay, if someone tells you, I can't believe all of them like fell for this. It's just so bizarre to me. Is that he tells them that I'm on a mission. I've got to get to DC. I know how to stop this. I know what happened. And then it's like he's got to get to a terminal to do something. I'm like, how naive were they? I mean, like really to think that that was even a possibility, or am I wrong to think that,
Oh,
or
definitely naive, but I think maybe when you look at, they were at a state, they were desperate, and if someone offered them a tiny bit of hope, they were like, yes, grabbed it with both hands. But yeah, I thought that. I thought there's no way. I like to think there's no way I would have believed it, but yeah, I wouldn't have
yeah, it
even.
was just. I mean, he had them all, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
Um,
all of those people.
Mike says, I think he is full of crap and got everyone fooled.
Yes,
I agree, Mike.
definitely. Yes.
well, he was able to ride that for a little while until he had no other choice. He kept doing things, to sabotage, like the bus,
Yes.
because he was trying to put off on them getting to DC because he had no clue what the hell he was doing, what he was going to do. Because
Yeah.
of course, he was lying. So he had to come clean. Abraham beats the crap out of him. Um, I thought he killed him. Actually,
Yeah.
I thought he really. And even while he's telling them that he's lying, he has the gall to tell Abe that I'm still smarter than you. It
Yeah.
was, but
Yeah, they needed each other, really. Yeah, they actually, when you look at the two of them, if you're going to put any two together, they were probably the two you think, yeah, they sort of,
there was, yeah, there was a little rift though between them there for a little while.
yeah, of course,
Mike
yeah.
says Abraham beat the stupid out of him.
Yes.
Well, you know what, Mike, you might be right because he eventually started stepping up a little bit. He was slow at it,
Yeah.
but he began stepping up. So maybe he did beat the stupid out of him. Um, but like I said, that there was a rift between him and Abraham for a little while. And we started to see Eugene actually be. It's like when Tara got hurt. He actually carried her out, and walked through the walkers on his own. And he even wanted to make bullets. He came up with a way. He figured out how to make bullets. So he wanted to start contributing to the group. Even like in 616, I can't think of the name. Is this your last day on whatever the name of the title is? Last Day on Earth. Thank you there, Mike. Um, but how he was sacrificing himself, which is really bizarre for to see Abraham because he was going to say, the others got out and they were going to walk. They were trying to trick the saviors, and
Yeah.
thought that he's going to stick with the RV and he'll be the pawn, and he'll let them chase him around everywhere while they get to the hilltop. And he was ready to die with that. He gave Rick his instructions and how to make the bullet, um, and all that.
So it
Um,
was a turnaround from where he had come, like what he had been like to a situation where, yeah, he was willing to sacrifice himself. Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that when we first met him. I wouldn't have seen that coming.
oh no, no, and I thought that was a nice little moment between him and Abe. Right before they parted.
Yeah.
But all that was kind of ruined when he became a traitor. I thought that. Did you? Who thought he actually was a traitor? Who actually thought that he joined? That he really became Negan?
I
Oh,
did.
I
I
did.
thought,
And
Me too.
Mike too.
I thought
Mike
yes.
also says, nah, he pulled that whole savior stuff. I think he just wanted to have a leader role and has no loyalty to anybody, to be honest.
Well, that's true. Yeah, definitely, 100%.
I thought it was just another way that he was just going to save his own butt. He was just like, this is the only way I see that I might survive here.
Right. He
For the
adapts to
pickles.
any.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. What,
For
Joe?
the pickles.
Right.
Yes.
Well, he just is. Oh yeah. He just adapts to whatever situation, and he knew that if he didn't become Negan and do what he wanted, I mean, he saw what Negan could do or would do,
Yeah.
and so he played that role pretty well, I think, and I really think that he became Negan. He wasn't pretending. I don't think he was pretending.
No, I don't think he was either. And I was
Uh-uh.
angry at him because I thought, I really thought he was sort of turning, becoming one of Rick's group, and he could perhaps be a trusted person within the group. But when he did that, I thought, well, he's come all this way just to do that. And I thought
Right.
it was a bit betrayal.
Gail
Yeah.
Between says she thought he was a traitor, but not for long. And Mike says JSS just survived somehow.
Yeah.
Right. True.
Very,
And
I
that's
think
and that's
CQB is
right
smarter
there.
than what everybody gives him for. He knows he can read the body language of people and knows he knows how to survive better than anybody else out there because he adapts to his surroundings and he uses what he needs to stay
Right.
alive. And that's the way
Right.
that's the way to get through the zombie apocalypse right there.
And that's exactly right there sums Eugene up. I think that sums him up. I mean, he adapted to whatever situation he was in. But what was you going to say, Christy? I'm sorry.
I was going to say, very true. And I think if there is actually going to be a last man standing, I'm hoping there's going to be more than one. I would bet Eugene to be it because he mightn't have the combat skills or the survival skills that the others have the same way, but he's
got the smarts.
Look where he is and look what he's gone through and survived. So yeah, and even now in these new episodes when we see him being interrogated, he will just do whatever he can to survive. Maybe
Right.
he's friends a bit more now as well. He's not just for himself, but he's going to survive. So so if they kill him off,
So
I'm really annoyed.
well, thankfully, Rosita got through to him about that, what she said to him whenever she and Daryl had kidnapped him, the little attempt to kidnap him, and he gags and pukes all over Rosita. But that and something Gabriel said while he was making the bullets, he decided to sabotage the bullets. And so to turn the tide so that Rick and group would win. And thank goodness he done that because I mean we don't know what we would be watching.
Oh, exactly.
Or who's. But that was pretty genius of him too to do that.
Oh yeah. Exactly. So I mean he's earned his spot in the group. He's earned his reputation in the group, despite perhaps his reasoning or his reason for doing it and just trying to save his own self. But he's earned his way there, and I think he would be fully respected. And if he was one to last right to the end, I don't think people would necessarily be surprised.
Yeah. Well, he got the respect from Rick because he and other people in the community. They made him engineer of Alexandria.
And
he was tinkering on all kinds of projects and things like measuring Coco's poop. He even was a couples counselor.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. But
Gail
yeah,
said that him sabotaging the bullets was great.
It was. I wasn't expecting it. It was like
I
it was
wasn't
one of the
either.
best moments. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
one of the best moments.
Whenever he took off from Rosita and Daryl, I lost hope in him. I thought
Oh
for
yeah.
sure he was Negan.
Yes, yes. It took me a while to really trust him that he was still working for our group. So he
Yeah.
seemed to, doing everything that he could just to be Negan. He was Negan. So, but yeah, the bullets, genius move.
Yeah. So after Rick, disappears, he has become even more respected uh, with the community, and he gets to tinkering around on this radio and playing with it until he finally makes contact with somebody. So if you've read the comics, you know how that storyline is, or that story arc. You know how it goes.
Nope.
Well, I'm not sure if I know what I'm expecting with the comic. I mean, with the show, Joe, because um, Denise Huth has said in an interview that season 11 is deviating from the comic.
Good.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that. I like that because I know what happened.
Yeah,
And
have to, I think, because lots of people have read the comics, so and they've never kept to them anyway. So there's always going to be, a different ending. I'm hoping.
Gail says she got to
right.
watch it in the theater.
So,
That would be cool.
oh, okay.
And Mike says, I wouldn't be surprised if Jennifer was a setup, but I believe he means Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie. Yeah, I was getting to that. Yeah, I was getting to that. I think she is. She's
And
definitely not.
Jennifer Lutz says, hello, everyone. Sorry, Tracy.
Hello,
Hey, Jennifer.
Okay.
I don't believe this is the Stephanie that he's been talking to on the radio. How and Eugene. This is what I'm not getting. Eugene is really, really smart. So is he so love struck, and he's not noticing in the difference in the voice?
Yes, that's what I wonder. Because
actually, right now, I don't see I didn't hear the difference in the voices either. So,
well, see, at first when she stepped in, and I was like, no, I think that's the real Stephanie. But I went back and I listened, and there's a little difference. Yeah, they don't sound all that much alike.
Jennifer believes he's a little too love struck too.
Yeah, love struck.
Yeah.
So that's the last we saw Eugene. He's standing. He's all excited. Oh, he done his job well. He done his job well. With Mercer.
yes.
But like when Mercer said, "You lie," oh no. I think that right there is a clue that that's not the real Stephanie. Because how else is he going to know if he's lied to him?
Right. True.
So yeah. So we last seen Eugene standing there, love struck, puppy dog eyes, staring at.
Jennifer says
Stephanie.
he has been alone all this time. So of course. Mike says, I think it was maybe a different voice actress. Them scenes with the radio were shot a long time ago.
Yeah, the thing with that though,
it's really her though.
Both of them is still on like for season 11 cast. Both those names.
Right, and when we first got the trailer for this, I remember seeing Eugene putting up posters looking for Stephanie, and I was thinking, oh, did he lose her? Or whatever, but now it kind of seems like he's looking for the real Stephanie.
But yes. So yeah, I mean, I'm sort of torn. I don't know whether it is or not. But I think I didn't think she sounded quite the same. But then I put it down to you sound different on radio or on the phone, that sort of thing. But
true.
I can see every reason why it wouldn't be. Because it just seems to, oh yes, and here's Stephanie, and we'll all into the group now, and we'll all live happily ever after. That doesn't happen. We don't see that. So it's got to be something else.
Yeah.
But that's what I've got. I hope I done Eugene. Gave him some justice there, and
absolutely.
Sounded pretty good to me.
Yep. While Jennifer said it would be cool if this was the real Stephanie, she is cute. For you.
So what happens when Eugene falls in love with this Stephanie,
And
then the real one comes along?
true.
I guess we'll have to
It's a
watch
love triangle. It's a love triangle.
We'll
Triangles.
just have to watch and find out. Well, isn't he really good at those love triangles? Father,
Yes.
not the father.
No.
Very true.
So
Oh goodness. Negan cracked me up when he said that to Gabe. That was so funny.
Thank you, Teresa. That was very informative about Eugene there. Christine,
You're
can
welcome.
you talk to us about Jesus?
I am going to show Jesus.
The,
I'm
the
so
real
pleased.
one or the TV one?
Well, you won't know, will you? I'm very pleased I chose Jesus as my character. I love Jesus. He's amazing. Do I have an amen? This is what I feel like I'm in church. It's like he's such a cool character, and it's not just because Tom Paine and those piercing blue eyes. No. He is amazing. I can remember his first episode, his introduction episode. I just thought, oh my gosh, who is he?
Best. One of the best introductions.
It is. And I just remember seeing him and I'm thinking, oh, he has to stay. As we're introduced to characters, we don't tend to want to get too attached to them because we don't know who's staying and who's going. And I just thought he is just amazing. He's like, in Australia, we would call him a larrikin, which is basically someone, a bit of mischief, but with good intentions and a good heart. And that's where I sort of see him as someone who, he's very clever, very devious in some things that he does, but he's not doing it to hurt people. And if he does, take from people, it's so that he doesn't leave them with any, without enough to have. So he was going to steal that truck. That's what he was there for. And but he didn't think he was necessarily doing the wrong thing to Rick and Daryl. But I thought it was hilarious when he just and when he just kept coming, and then he's in front of the truck, and then it's a ditch and everything, and I wondered where he would turn up next. And when they brought him back, and he's talking about the community and everything and that, but they're not even buying it for a second. And when they brought him back to Alexandria, and they put him in jail, and then he's an escapologist. I think they sort of allude to his growing up as he has very good combat skills, hand-to-hand combat. So I think he sounds a bit like a ninja, but he just seemed to be able to be very agile. And he got out of that jail cell, however, and when he appears in the bedroom with Rick and Michonne, that was my second favorite scene of his. I'm just like, oh my god. And but I don't know, initial impressions. What were your initial impressions of him when he sort of, right, they've got him back at Alexandria, and we don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. It's hard to tell. I'm thinking, I hope he's a good guy. But what were your initial impressions of him?
Well, I mean, I knew he was a good guy because, like I said, I've read the comics, and but I was super excited when he finally made it into the show. I mean, I knew I was assuming what was going to happen, but yeah, I was super excited. I love him. He was great. He was like they plugged him with all of the characters out of the comics. Like they plugged them, take them off the page and they put them in the show. The only thing that the Jesus in the comics is tall. You can tell he's really tall, as to where Tom Paine wasn't.
Yeah, okay.
But he cracked me up though.
And Jennifer said that Jesus was awesome. He definitely left way too soon. And Mike said, I agree with Jennifer.
Yes, absolutely. That disappointed me when the way that he left and the timing that he left. When we
so
first
shocking.
met, oh, exactly. And I don't know. For me, it was like unnecessary. It was like, no, there's so much more to him. And I mean, at Hilltop, when he, eventually takes them back to there and introduces them to Gregory. No one ever chooses him as a character to discuss, do they, Gregory? Oh my gosh. Anyway, he, he seemed to show that yes, he had respect for Gregory, and he seemed to be supporting him and being loyal. And I think they were attributes that he had. He was someone that he would back you to the hill if he thought you were doing the right thing. And at that time, I think he still thought Gregory was someone who could take charge. And, you know, I mean, he admitted to, I think, to Daryl and Rick, you know, he is a good leader, he said, but he's a prick. And I thought that pretty much sums him up. And I don't know, I think, Jesus, he had this boyish charm, this sort of, you know, he could charm anyone. And I think that, you know, is something that was good for us to see someone like that. You know, we had different characters, some who were very intense and some who were just like full on, I've got a fly annoying me. And I think he was a bit of light relief in a sort of very bleak world. But he wasn't someone that you could mess with either, because he was very skillful. And what would you see as being his?
Hold on just a second. Jennifer said he was extremely loyal, and that's important in that world.
Absolutely.
Yep. Absolutely.
So for me, that was one of his, you know, attributes that I thought would serve him well, and also help others, because he was quite selfless in what he did to the very end. And it's like, damn him, why is he just always thinking?
I was getting back to your earlier question.
Yes,
I was disappointed in him as a character, because, you know, I haven't read the comics, but of course you've heard how he's such a good fighter, and he's a badass in the comics and everything. And in the show, he didn't get to show any of that. He was loyal, but he didn't get to show his, you know.
Yeah, he made a statement actually about that they had him do all this training, learn to do some of this, like do this, do that, and then they never let him use it.
He wasn't someone, like, he wouldn't back down from a confrontation, but at the same time, I mean, you didn't see a lot of those skills, and that is disappointing.
I guess the best fight we saw was in the graveyard.
Right.
Exactly. So he was someone that you would, so loyalty and was an attribute that I think served him well. What do you think was his greatest attribute,
Well,
Teresa?
hold on 1 second. Jennifer said that she met Tom Payne, and he said he hated that his character didn't get to be how he was in the comics. And said he had no storyline, which is true. He didn't. I think the biggest problem with the no storyline is that him and Maggie and Daryl were supposed to have that, were colluding at the end of that one season to go after Rick. And of course, what's her face? Lauren Coleman left the show. So that kind of just went by the wayside. I think that was where his storyline was supposed to go. So I don't know.
Yeah, he was. I know what you mean about, like, him not having a storyline. He was. If you look at him, he was kind of a subplot. He was there. He was always there, and he was loyal to Maggie. I don't think he saw himself as a leader, but he was really a true leader in a sense. But he always seemed to be, you know, like an ambassador, supporting roles. And just, I don't think we got to see it. And that's one of my things, you know, why did they bring him in, go to all that trouble to bring that character in, where it doesn't have to be exactly the same as the comics, but they didn't really show the sort of, you know, I think the sort of fighter that he could have been and the sort of character that he could have been to continue. So, yeah.
What did you ask me a moment ago?
I was asking about what you think his greatest attribute was. What did he have that made him stand out in this zombie apocalypse?
I think he was very helpful. I was thinking. I think he's very helpful. He was always there. So, like, he put himself in the situation to help move whatever along. Even to help somebody, like, you know how you did with Morgan, like, hey, use this end for the walkers and this end for the people. You know, he was always trying to do good and help people. I like that about him.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
think,
other than him being loyal, I mean, he was loyal, yes. I just wanted to say something different from loyal.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I think he, um, you know, he was a lovable character, but yeah, I don't think they took him far enough. And I think when, um, because he believed in justice, but he was also fair. So I think where Maggie really wanted to kill all the saviors because she wanted to kill everybody.
Right.
You know, I mean, I think he supported her with Gregory when when Gregory was on his horse and fell off with the noose around his neck. He didn't really fall off, but he supported. But I think he was still shocked in a way that she had done that. And but yeah, he still stood by her. And I know when
Now, I don't think he supported her. The one thing I think that I saw that he wasn't very supportive with her was when she jailed Earl, or maybe more not jailed Earl, but not letting Tammy go down and see him.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, all of that. I think there would have been instances, many times when he didn't fully support Gregory either, but you could see that he was going to do what he could to help everyone survive, and if that meant supporting a prick, then that's what he was going to do. And I guess, he didn't agree with everything Maggie did, and I mean, we can only say that Maggie was slightly.
Okay, guys, our producer says that he got an important phone call and he has to leave. So we're going to have to cut this short tonight. I'm sorry about that.
Oh,
Christine, I know that you worked hard on everything and what is going on this, but
I think I'm the best person to cut off.
if you all want, we can try to continue this in the group, on the group page. I'll try to just stick around. I'll try to get it figured out. So for all of us here tonight, I'm glad you all came, and I'm sorry about the short notice here. So for me, have a good night.
Thank you very much.